So it's summertime and soccer season just started. My kids would usually come in and leave the cleats wide at the entrance. So I'm building a mountable shoe rack that they can put their cleats on when they come home. That will allow the cleats to air out and not be in the way all the time. So for this project, I'm using scrap pieces of wood from either previous projects or just some pieces that I found laying around for a day like today. I did do some measurements for some plywood pieces that I'll be doing later to give away, and then on the one I'm building today, I'm going to be using pine wood, some leftover pine lumber. So I'm just doing all the measurements here, and some of the pieces were close to the 24-inch width that I need for the build. And as you can see here, I'm using scrap wood from previous projects. I'll cover those holes with wood putty or plastic wood. But yeah, I ended up building a second one because my wife wanted one for her as well. And those are my makeshift sawhorses, tabletop sawhorses. And here's one of my favorite tools. If you're not comfortable using a hand saw, I would advise not to do this, because you could easily cut yourself with this tool. It is really sharp. As I mentioned earlier, the width is 24 inches, and that's the width for both the front and the back. And then there'll be the two side pieces that connects the front to the back that you will see me cut later in the video. So I just finished cutting what will be one of the front pieces, and now I'm cutting one of the back pieces, which is approximately 3.25 inch wide. And it is also 24 inches like I mentioned. So you'll notice I added a third 2x4 scrap piece there to add some stability to my makeshift sawhorses there. And it makes the cut even cleaner because you can rest the exact spot that you're cutting through on that middle piece. That way it doesn't fall off or break apart. I thought I'd give a close-up of what it looks like cutting with this tool. It cuts pretty straight. You just have to keep a really steady hand on the piece that you're holding onto and make sure the support at the bottom is level with the piece you're cutting on. That's why I'm moving the pieces, I'm moving them around to make sure it's sitting flush with the bottom piece there for an easier cut. And now I'm just doing a simple angle. The one that I will be building with the plywood, I'll probably do a curved angle on that one. But this one I just did a straight cut on it to give it a decorative look instead of just a block of wood in between the front and back pieces. So I have the first one cut, and I'll just use the first one as a template to do the second one. I'm just doing a dry fit or a quick test fit to make sure they will fit right. And then, like I said, I'm using the first one I cut as a template, and I'm using a clamp here because it makes it go really faster. You can see that I got this one cut really fast, and then there was that little piece at the top that I needed to cut off. That would have been a challenge to cut holding it in my hand or supporting it with my hand, but it cuts really fast. And there we have it. This was a good time for some cleaning up, and then we'll go right into fastening it all together. Since this is something that my kids will be using a lot, it was a good idea to just sand off the sharp edges, just round them over. I'm using a sanding block that I made myself with 60 grit sandpaper. It looks more like 120 grit sandpaper now because I've used it so many times. So I'm just rounding those edges with the sand block there, and then I'll start attaching it with some glue and some screws. If you've seen any of my other videos, you will know that this is my go-to glue. It's quick and thick, and it dries out clear. I like it. It gets the job done, and it dries really fast, which I like for my projects. I don't want to wait hours and hours for a project to dry up. And if you have a nail gun, this is something you can finish off quicker with a nail gun. I didn't want to use a nail gun for this one because, I don't know, I just wanted to use screws on this one. But the next one I'm building with the plywood, I'll definitely be using brad nails to attach it all together. I'm guessing if I had used the nail gun on this one, I probably would have been done by now and not have a need to use the clamps to hold it together so I can pre-drill the holes. So that's an option there. As I mentioned, I pre-drilled the screw holes so that the screws will sit flush beneath the surface of the back, since I'm attaching the back of it to the wall. So that makes for a very flush fit against the wall. If you're finding some value in this video, please click on the like button and share it with someone else you think would benefit from this video. In that same note, I'll ask that you subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so that we can build this community where we're all learning from each other, helping each other grow. And remember that I am always going to be cheering for you. I believe you can do this. You were born a creator because you were made by the greatest creator. Thank you. Doing a quick sand in there with a piece of sandpaper to remove all the pencil marks, and then I will get my wood filler and fill out those screw holes in the front there and all the nail holes that were on, I believe it's on the front of the top piece, and there's some holes on the back piece as well. So I'm covering the screw holes in the front so you won't even see that it was attached using a screw. I was planning on using pocket hole screws, but then it was too late. I'd already attached it before I thought about using pocket hole screws. But that's an option you can use as well. You can drill the pocket holes on the side pieces and then screw them onto the front and the back pieces. Then it will be too many pocket holes, but then you can cover them with the pocket hole screw covers, or the pocket hole screw covers. I think that's what they're called. I've used it on other projects. I like the look of it, the finish. I like the white. I don't like the wood pocket hole screws, or plugs as they might be called. Okay, just a little more cleaning and then we're done with the first one. Like I said, I built a second one, which you'll see later on in the video there. But basically I used these tools to build this one. No table saw, no miter saw, just this little hand tool to do the cuts. And then my clamp and the drill. Okay, so I'm putting down some masking tape. I know there are studs behind this wall. I know that for sure. And so I'm just going to measure. I'm going to look for the studs on my stud finder, and then I'll mark the spots where the studs are. I could have just marked the spots where the studs are on the wall there, since I was going to paint over it anyway, but I had the masking tape there so I can write the markings on the masking tape rather than doing it on the wall. That's a tip, rather than marking the wall and having to clean it off, you can just put down some masking tape there and then mark on the masking tape. When you're done, you just remove the masking tape off the wall. And the studs on this wall are 16 inches on center. So I had already pre-drilled the holes on the shoe rack with that in mind. So I already have the 16-inch on center holes pre-drilled so I can attach them onto the studs. So here I'm just marking the exact spots where the studs are. There, as you probably noticed that there's an electrical outlet at the bottom there. There's also another one on the other side of the wall. To make sure that I don't drill into any of those electrical cords, I'm using a very strong magnet here to identify where the nails that attach the drywall to the wall are. That way I can drill safely into the studs and avoid drilling into any of the electrical cords back there. Now it was time to mount the shoe rack onto the wall. If you've seen other builds of this, you would notice that I flipped mine upside down, and the reason why I did that is to allow for the sole of the clit, or the actual clits at the bottom, to be raised away from the wall so that they are not resting against the wall when, you know, it allows for some room for the clits to be placed in the rack without them dragging against the wall. You will see once I have it painted and mounted again, you would see that there is a gap between the back of the cleats and the wall. So even though this is a 24 foot wide shoe rack, I was able to fit both of my kids' cleats onto it, and even my wide fitting Skechers there. Those are now my walk shoes. I'm getting rid of the older walk shoes. This will be my new walk shoes because they're very comfortable to walk in. Now it was time to spray them. I'm using a Rust-Oleum 2-in-1 paint and primer, and I'm spray painting them in my well ventilated paint spray booth, whatever you want to call it, but I'm spraying them white to match the other furniture that I have in my mudroom / entryway. So I did a second coat of the paint, the spray paint, and then it was time to paint the wall to get rid of all the scratches on the wall there. And after allowing the paint some time to dry up, I attached the first one here, and in goes the cleats, and I still have space for one of my own shoes since I go in and out of the house a lot. I believe this is a good time to remind you that all you need is a little faith and some DIY action to tackle any DIY project. That's it, and here's the second one. Remember I said my wife wanted one for hers as well. Well, for her everyday shoes as well. So I built a second one, attached down one of the stairs for easy access. And here I'm just trying it out with some of her sandals. But I think the sandals will go in the shoe cabinet that we have. There's an IKEA one that I bought a couple years ago that has been working well. I don't think the sandals will do well here. We'll get the shoes there instead. But let me know, sandals or shoes? Which one do you prefer?